150 on the RPM. Good morning, boys and girls. It's another day. I'm gonna go haul some hay today. Same trip we made last week, but I gotta make two. Got the fifth wheel out last night. Got the gooseneck in. Gotta go to the shop, pick up the trailer, and head to Decatur. Don't need the AC this morning, it's a little chilly. Alright, we're gonna let the truck warm up for a few minutes and then head to the shop and get hooked up. Alright, pulling into the shop here. Gonna get hooked up to the trailer. Right there she is, Old Faithful. Alright, let's see here. First try. Look at that. See, that's why you always jack up the trailer just high enough where it's touching the ball when you pull forward. So when you have to back up to it, your ball hits the trailer slightly and you know exactly when you're there. On the road again. Sorry, that's all I know of the song. It's just catchy sometimes. Every time I get back on the road again, I think of it. It reminds me of the movie Big Green, the old soccer movie, when they're driving through the pasture in a cop car. That's what I think about every time I get on the road. Anyways, we got hooked up to the trailer. We got to get out to Decatur, pick up the first load of hay, back to Lipan, and then back to Decatur, and then back to Lipan. So it's going to be a long day, but got to do what you got to do. At least I'm busy during all this virus crap. So, a little Volkswagen Bug, friend of mine drives that sucker right there. And anyways, let's try to get through this road construction they're doing. Repaving the roads finally. And let's get on the road here. Catch back up to you when I get out to the pasture. Started this morning with 12 miles on the truck, and now I got 65, so it's about 53 miles out to this guy's place. So we've got to get out, open the gate, and then we'll head down to the bottom of the pasture. Opening and closing gates is one of the worst things ever. I guess they put some cows out here because the last few times I've been here, ain't had the gate shut, but gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, that ain't going nowhere. All right, load up. 20 bells on here. Let's follow him out. Hopefully we can get up this hill without spinning. The grass is wet from a dew this morning. So we'll see how that goes. Help, I take the brake off, huh? This is the factory Ford stall and the original torque converter, so everything with the transmission's all stock. Just to show you how it handles it. I like how low the stall is. It's pretty awesome actually for this engine setup. Maybe if I had a higher horsepower engine, I'd have to have a higher stall, but for what it is, it works perfect. Guess he found something. Oh, big old piece of rebar. That ain't good for a tire. Alright, we're about to pull on the interstate here, I-20 out of Weatherford. I skipped video and all the parts of going through Decatur and Springtown and Weatherford because, well, it's the same thing you saw last week with the exact same load. So didn't figure I want to bore y'all with all that. But as we're getting on the interstate here, we're going to talk about the wastegate setting. So last week I was talking about under 2,000 RPMs. I feel like I didn't have any more fuel after 45% throttle. Well, a little bit of that had to do with the K27 wastegate setting. So I've been messing around with it. Every time I haul a load, I'll change it a little bit. And I think I finally got it where I like it. Last week it was at 30 pounds. It was fully open at 30 PSI. And when I was under 2,000 RPM, what would happen is I didn't have enough exhaust flow to keep the HX55 going to pull me up above 2,000 RPMs. So it just felt like I had no more fuel. But when I got above 2,000 RPMs, the HX55 had enough velocity to pull the RPMs up and feel like I have more fuel, which there is a little bit above 2,000, but then again, I'm on a stock 190P pump with no modifications other than a little AFC tuning. But this week, before I hooked up to this load, I changed the wastegate back up to 35. I haven't had it to 35. I went all the way to 40 and then back down to 30, and now I'm at 35. And now it seems really happy. Under 2,000 RPM, in between 15 and 2,000, I can have fuel all the way to 50%, and then I'm done. But now I know that that's just all the fuel I have, because even over 2,000 RPM, 50%, it just has nothing more after that. It's just all turbo. And now the HX55 doesn't fully come in until about, as soon as I hit 40, that's when the HX55 starts coming in hard, which is what I like. Now, if I go to a bigger set of injectors or delivery valves or anything like that, I might have to back the wastegate down back to 30, because I don't want to drive the K27 that hard with more fuel. But yeah, here we are, we're on the interstate. And as you can see, we're at 122 miles now. So we left that place with 65 miles. And I got about another 20 to get to this guy's house. Unload it and get back on the road, head back out to Decatur. So. Alright, we made it. 142 miles. Let's see, right there. So, well, that's only about an 80-mile trip, but 142 miles total today. Now, this is one of those driveways that I cannot stand having to pull into. I got to pull all the way into the bar ditch to try to make this turn and hopefully not break anything. hurt a tire. And not hit anything. Alright, so looks like we made it. Alright, anyways, here we go. Pulling down his driveway here. Get unloaded. It was a good trip. Truck did good. It's I like the wastegate set at 35 a lot more than I liked it at 30. And it's not driving the turbo as hard as I did when I had it at 40. So I think 35 is where I'm going to leave it, at least until I get some more fuel. I don't know about that though. Alright, we got unloaded there. He just set it off there real quick so I can get on my way and go pick up this other load. Now before I get on the road here, I'm going to talk about what to do whenever you're going to be hauling hard all day. If any of you guys do that, one thing I've always done is that if I'm going to have a day where I'm hauling hard and heavy, and it's going to be an all-day event, I never turn my truck off once I start it. So I started it at 6:45 this morning. It's now 11:10, and I still haven't shut it off. No matter how long I'm sitting there waiting for him to load me or unload me, I never ever shut it off until I'm home for the day. Now, that's something I've always done. My dad's always done it. And after knowing a little bit about diesels, especially these 12 valves, it's a whole lot better on them than shutting them off, letting them cool down 50 degrees, and then starting to back up, letting them heat up, and then being hard on it for another hour, and then shutting it off and starting the whole process over again. It's better just to let it sit there and idle, keep the oil flowing through the bearings, get the heat soak out of the engine, and then go on about your way. Now that's something I've always done. It's always worked in my favor. I've never worn a bearing out in an engine. Even my 850 horsepower 12 valve I had, when it threw a valve through the piston, the bearings were still good. And that's something I always did. I never shut it off if I was going to be driving it hard. And that engine had over 300,000 miles on it. But yeah, that's just something I just want to touch light on here before I get back on the road. All right, guys, we made it back to his place. 221 miles now, so another 80 miles down. It's now 1:15. It's like a 4-hour round trip. It's a long day. Anyways, we're here. Pull down the driveway, get into the pasture, get loaded up, get on my way back to Lipan so I can finish out this day. Old truck's doing good. I'm getting about 10.5 miles per gallon just by how many miles I'm getting per quarter tank, which is very good. Can't complain considering all the driving I'm having to do in towns. So that's good, real good. I'm gonna pull off in here and get loaded up, and then catch you guys whenever I'm headed out. All right, loaded up with our second load. Took about 30 minutes to load, to strap down. Heading on up out of his pasture. It's now almost 2 o'clock, and I gotta head on to Lipan. It's getting hotter, so I'm gonna slow my speed down so I don't hurt any tires. But just for record, we're at 222 on the mileage. So it'll be about another 80 miles to get to Lipan, so it'll be a pretty good day. Get on up out of this pasture and we'll be on our way. Hope everybody else is doing good in all this quarantine, and everybody's staying busy and not out of house and home. So my prayers to y'all if y'all need it. But anyways, before we get to Lipan here, I just want to thank everybody for watching. I never thought I'd have 800 subscribers, so let alone on my way to 1,000. So 1,000 would be awesome, and if I get to 1,000, I'll start uploading a little bit more. I just really haven't put much work into these videos, and I guess I need to start putting a little bit more work into them if people like them. But if y'all have any suggestions on what you want to see, if you like the hauling videos, if you want to see more of just the truck videos, just let me know. But I'm gonna get on the road here, and I'll catch back at y'all later. Maybe want to get on the interstate. Alright, we're at 272 miles coming into Weatherford. Still got to make it to La Pan. Truck's still doing good. Engine temp 172, trans temp 152. I just sat in 30 minutes of traffic. They're repaving the road here, like I said earlier, and they're stopping one lane at a time. Sat there forever. It was crazy. But yeah, coming into town here, there's a loop that goes around town, but they put so many daggum stop signs and stoplights on it, it's not even worth it if you're loaded, because it turns out every stop sign or stoplight, it's the bottom of a daggum hill, so it's a lot harder on my equipment to go that way than it is just to go through town. So that's why we're here, even though our square ain't the easiest either. But it's easier than going through that loop when I'm loaded heavy like this. So I'll see you when we get on the highway. Final stretch here, we're back on the interstate. So like I said before, it's like another 20 or so miles to get to this guy's house. We're at 278 miles now, so we'll be right at 300 miles to get done here today. And then, you know, it's like 45 miles back home. But that'll be empty, so it don't really matter. I'll tell you what, this truck sure is a champ. I mean, I don't know a new truck today that would do this trip like this as good as it's done and still have more than a quarter tank of fuel left after driving through all these towns back and forth, in and out of pastures, and you're running 65, 70 on the interstate. And best thing is, I haven't had to stop to put DEF in it either. And it's been running all day, haven't shut it off one time. Just came up a big old hill, maintains, never got under 65. Yeah, I mean, this sucker just, it amazes me that I could build a truck like this in my garage, but companies like Ford and Dodge can't build one because of the dang EPA and all the government to save their lives. Something's always wrong with them, but by golly, this one right here gets the job done, and it does a dang good job of it. But as you can see, I drive a lot of miles, and that's why this truck has so many miles on it. I'm pushing 65,000 on the swap now, so it's going good. I mean, the only issue I've had really is that one is the turbo, and hell, I got 455,000 miles out of that turbo, so can't complain one bit. Yeah, we're on flat ground here, just running 18 pounds of boost, 800 EGTs, 70 mile an hour, with 20 bells in the back. Alright, off the interstate here and getting on the 281. About 5 miles from here to this guy's place. But I figured I ain't showed y'all much of the truck actually working in this video. So I'm going to show you coming up the hill here. It's about, I don't know, 2 miles till it levels off. It's a pretty hard hill, especially loaded, but I'm not going to let it get out of fourth, because once I top the hill, my turn ain't much out there. It's like a half mile past that. So no use to hammer on it for no reason. First locked, second locked, we're only about 40% throttle. Third locked, it's going to maintain 40% throttle, 20 pounds of boost, 875 EGTs. There we go, fourth locked, Still 40% throttle. We've gone up to 22.5 pounds of boost, 23 pounds of boost, 950 EGTs. Still haven't changed throttle position. For 2,000 RPMs, 52 mile an hour. Still 40% throttle, 24 pounds of boost, 900 EGTs. Got over 2,000 RPM, the EGTs came down 100 degrees. But still 42% throttle. Still holding 40% throttle. 900 EGTs, 25 pounds of boost, 2,200 RPM. Still holding. Let's get a little bit more throttle, gain some speed here. 42% throttle, 28 pounds of boost, 2,300 RPM, 900 EGTs. Still 43% throttle, 29 pounds of boost, maintaining 186 engine temp, 925 EGTs, 2250 on the RPM, almost to the top here, 950 EGTs, 30 pounds of boost. Well, I've come up on throttle percentage, about 44%, almost to the top. Remember, I'm weighing about 34,000 pounds. Still going, 900 EGTs. We've maintained 57 mile an hour for quite a ways now, 2,300 RPM. All right, we got to the top there, so that's how you get it done. Got to the top and let it shift. Look, my engine temp came down from 186 to 182 while doing all that. That's how you know she's working there. Trans temp still 155. It's good stuff. This truck sure does work. Finally made it. I was pretty close on the mileage, 299.2, but we still gonna drive down his mile-long driveway and through his 200-acre field. So we may be at 300 by the time I get parked. But thanks for coming along for the ride. Another good day in the FUMMINS, putting in work like it always does. I'm pretty proud of this truck. I don't think I would ever sell it, and it's always going to be working for me as long as I have it. Maybe one day if I get to build another one like a 450, I can retire this one and just use this one to have fun in. But for now, it's still going to be a workhorse. Do everything I ask of it. But thanks for watching, guys. Hope it wasn't too dragged out and that y'all enjoyed it. Let me know what y'all want to see, and we'll see you next time. Stay safe.